our subject. And I think let me see, I'm just figuring out what pencil I want to use. I'm going to use the HB, maybe my 3H and HB. I'm going to use the harder pencils because her skin is very, very light. In fact, I think this part of her leg is the lightest piece of the whole drawing. So what I'm going to do right now is just compare the darknesses in the photograph to what I'm going to draw. I'm going to start with this foot. The bottom of the foot is pretty dark. I'm not making it as dark as it will end up. I'm just getting a basic darkness there. Should I zoom in? I should zoom in so you can really see what I'm doing. Really up close. Okay. So I want to do the edge of this foot, and it looks like the dock is going to go right up to her foot. I'm just enlarging the picture I'm looking at. Okay, so it looks like I have a little bit of skin on that edge, and then it just goes into, she has a heel, goes in a little bit here, and then her leg goes out. So I'm going to erase that back. So the shape of her leg, let me get this straight up and down. Okay. So I'm just comparing side by side my drawing to the photograph. And if you need to hold the paper back up to the dock to get the edge of the shape of her leg back, you can. So it goes in here, and then it goes out, and then it goes back in. And this curve actually goes, I don't want to make her leg too beefy, but it does go out a bit. And then back in. And then her ankle goes out a little bit. Okay, so you want this smoothness, in, out, in, out. And feel free to throw your paper back on the computer and draw that so it's exact. And over here I have the shadows. Let me see. The shadow goes out. So it goes out and then it comes in more there. Out and in. And then for the edge of this foot, I don't want to outline, so I'm going to create that edge. By drawing the dock. So I'm getting really detailed on the dock here. And the reason I need to do that is so I can figure out what my values need to be in her skin. This is the crease in that dock, so I need to continue it. Whoops. Continue it over here. All right. bringing that dark separation between the boards all the way across. It can't be here and not here. It needs to go all the way across. Okay. I'm just erasing this because my crack of my board went in a dome and it can't do that. It needs to be straighter. Okay. 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 And okay, so I have this. Now I have to look at what shades I'm going to have in her skin here. And if you zoom in on her ankle, I'm going to switch to my lightest, hardest pencil, which is a 3H. They make these all the way to like 8H. So I have my hardest pencil, 3H, and the wood is lighter than her foot. I'm just going to color the skin in and leave a white edge here. And I will have to go over this darker. Right now I'm just getting an idea of the darks on this leg and where they are and where the light hits. A little bit goes from up here. And then her thigh, it's really dark here. I don't want lines. Be patient, take your time. I'm doing little circles with the pencils. And okay, this crease, it's lighter under the crease and then it's nice and dark over the crease. Still leaving this white edge. Okay, it's gonna be a little dark. Okay. So now I'm backing up and looking at it again. The further back you get, you sometimes you just got to take a step back and make sure you're not going too dark with a part. All right. So it looks like, looking at this area, this needs to be a larger light area like that. And then this gets confusing, so I want to do more of the dock here. And it looks like it's hard because it looks almost like the same value. Let me go darker here. It's going to be dark here. And I'm not pushing harder. I'm just doing another layer of this dark. That's going to be darker. So let me get a darker pencil. This is I'm going to use a 2B. Okay, I'm going to use the 2B and do this crease. And I can't have a line there. So this needs to blend in with the leg. So just do little tiny circles till it blends in. I'm keeping this white. And then this looks like it goes down this way. And I can't have such a sharp line there, so I need to blend it more. So where can I do dark on the bottom under that crease? It looks like this is my darkest spot. I'm not going crazy dark. I'm just pushing soft with this 2B pencil. And this darkness looks like it goes like this. Teeny tiny circles I'm doing. And what these teeny tiny circles do is fill in the graphite into the little dips in this paper. Okay, now I'm looking back again, and this is too dark compared to this, so I really need to blend that. To blend, I'm just pushing normal here and then lifting it up off the paper as I go out. All right. I'm going to blend this into the white part of the leg. All right, so you're going to look at this like a whole cylinder. And if you look at the picture, you'll see this shadow that runs down this whole cylinder. It kind of starts here, goes to the left, and then goes down. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Kind of goes down to the middle of this where that ankle bone is. This goes out further and goes into a little point into that line. And I need to bring this a little wider here. Okay. And I'm going to do a little more dark up here. And go into this bathing suit crease. And it looks like this whole part of the thigh is going to be a little darker. It's not necessarily a shadow, but it's her skin. It's her skin color that's darker than the dock. Then I'm going to follow this and do the same thing over here. Over here, it looks like I have some dark here. So I'm using the 2B, in case I didn't say that. Don't worry about blending it. I'll get there. Just get your values down right now. Going very light as I can with my 2B. Very, very light. I'm barely touching the paper. And this is I drew a line here where the shadow goes. I got to make sure I have this line right. So her little hippie fanny hippie, it's going to go out a little. I'm just worrying about the edge here. I'm going to switch to my 3H pencil because I don't want this. I want to be able to erase this line. All right. It can't be a lump. It needs to go like this. So I'm going to erase that right there. All right. And if you want to find this eraser online, it's called the Mono Zero eraser. And it's the round, it's not the rectangle. And I'll show you how to order it. Let's see. If you go in my comments below, I have a link that will bring you here. And then you're just going to type in I gotta make this straight for you. Okay. You're just gonna type in up here mono 0, 2 separate words, and this comes up. So then you click on this and you'll see this is rectangle. That's not the one you want. Scroll down to round, eraser silver round, and it is only $4.27. You're not going to find it cheaper anywhere else. This is a special discounted price I'm able to forward to you. So you can get the eraser and you can get 2 refills. And right now they have a code if you need more art supplies than that, order whatever you need, put this code in and you'll get an additional 10% off. And they also have free shipping right now, but you need to use the link I have below in the description of the video. All right, so let's go back into this. All right. Sorry, all this moving around with the camera. All right. So let's finish the other leg. I gotta flip this. There we go. So now it's the same as the photograph. Okay. So if I were drawing this leg larger, I could get it so much more real looking. We're doing it pretty small here. All right, so this part of the leg, that crease goes like this. It goes up a little and down here. And oh, I'm using 3H. Use your 3H. Okay, because that's the lightest pencil. Or whatever hardest pencil you have. Or if you're only using a 2B pencil, just draw as lightly as you can. We're going to have her skin, coloring in the whole thing with a soft color. And then down here we have like a triangle of darkness that's going to blend into her foot, so it's not a hard edge. And then this goes all the way up like that. It should go pretty straight. That's that Achilles tendon. It should go pretty straight. And then we have some light here. And then in the photograph, this needs to be dark again. All the way up to that edge. This is light because that's her toe. Okay. How close up can I get it for you? And then this area needs to, I'm going to zoom in on my picture. Okay. So then we have this ankle part that's going to come down like this. And it should be more straight up and down than that. So I'm going to just do that. And then this has to blend in with her leg. This Achilles gets a little darker here. And I know this looks like a really lumpy leg, but when you back out and you look at it far away, it won't look so lumpy and oddly shaped. Okay. I want her calf to go out a little more, so I'm going to erase a little of that with the eraser. And then I'm just studying the photograph right here. So this crease, it's going to get darker here. And then I can't have this harsh line. It has to fade into the rest of her leg. So just do little light circles on top of that line until it looks more gradual. It's going to take a couple passes. And then I'm going to go back down to her calf to where it's dark. Dark, dark, dark. Okay. And then the inside of her leg, this needs to be darker because that's going to be darker than the dock. And I'm using a 3H, so it's a very hard pencil. It draws very lightly, so I'm actually going to switch to a 2B, which should be, I think it's the same as a number 2 pencil. So now I'm going to get more detailed. This crease of the bathing suit, not on the bathing suit, but on her leg. It's going to be dark all the way to here. And I'm going to do little circles because I don't want lines, because she doesn't have lines on her skin. And I'm going to do some of my dock here because that's what's going to make the edge of that leg. Let's see, let's get the lines. 1, 2, 3. And then there's another one about here. And another one about here. It's a little bit down from that. And then there's one that's pretty even with that. And the idea is they have to get closer together as they go further away. So about there. And then another one here. And now wherever these lines are, you need to continue them here. So just get them on each side of the leg. And if you want, you can lay down a ruler for this part. You don't want to go exactly straight, but you want to keep to that line. So that's what I have. And some areas of it will be darker. You might not see it all the way across. You might just have a hint of it here and there. And I'll do this here. I have to look at the picture to see what it does here. Okay, so the edge of the dock, when I said I need to see what it does, I need to see what's darker, the dock or the water, and it's the dock. So I'm just making some lines. I'm going to do this pretty dark where that crease is, not the crease, the separation between the planks. And further away, it's going to be a thinner line, and as we get down here, it's going to be like a wider, this thing is wider. I don't even know what to call it, between the boards. They have to go all the way back at your piling. Don't end them here. It needs to continue past. So we have the edge of this. All right. So now I want to blend this, the leg, so it's looks more like skin. And there's different tools you can use to blend. I'm just going to fold up a piece of paper into like a cone. So I have a point. And to blend, you don't want to blend all that so it's one color. That's not what you're doing. You want to keep your dark areas dark and keep your light areas light. So, let's see. I just have like the ripped edge that's a little bit frayed, and that's what I'm going to use to blend. And I want to keep my lights light, so I'm just going to blend, smooth out this white area, and only go where the leg is the lightest. And I'm getting rid of any of the lines. Her booty up here is a little light. And I can erase. If I blend it too much, I can go back in and erase. And then I'm going to go to my middle gray. And I'm just kind of scratching where the dark meets the light so it blends better. Maybe I'll see if I can zoom in more. I'm just scratching the paper. Softly blending it. Trying to get rid of this line here. See, now I might have brought that dark too far over, but that's what erasers are for, my friends. And if you erase too much of your dock, that's what your pencil's for, my friends. You could just draw the dock back in and it's okay. I want to keep that highlight there. I'm only blending her skin. I'm not going to blend any of this dock because it is very rustic and splintery. So let's see. Let's blend up here. A little shadow under her thigh. And if you have texture on your paper, it might show now. Like, do you see those lines? That's the texture in my paper. You can also use a Q-tip. I'm going to grab a Q-tip and show you what that does. So if you want to get really fancy, instead of a regular cotton swab Q-tip, at the beauty stores, they have Q-tips that come to a point at the end that would be perfect for this. So I'm just so lightly touching, like kind of like this motion to the paper. And I'm getting rid of any lines. You're not rubbing crazy because you want to keep your dark areas dark. So you just like blend on your dark areas. There's another dark area. Because you need to have this variation from dark to light so it looks like skin. And then we could go back in and make these darker if we want. So right now I'm going to go back to my 2B, which is like a number 2 pencil. And I know this needs to go further out. And I'm going to get this a little darker. It's better to start too light and gradually make it darker. Okay, so I'm not doing this part yet because when I look at my photograph, the leg's actually lighter here and the bathing suit is darker. So we don't want a line there. I know I keep saying that all day. You don't want lines. unless you're intentionally putting them in. I'm going to start with my HB. I'm going to leave the polka dots white. So you could draw your polka dots in and then just shade where the polka dots are not. So let's do that. Let's shade this bathing suit in. Not as dark as you can go, kind of just a medium dark. Do you like my definitions of darkness? This is a HB pencil, and I'm just going to lightly go over where the bathing suit is, except for the polka dots. And when you look at the polka dots, there's some creases here. I'm not going to do those yet. I'm just doing our little tushy part. Can I say tushy? Okay. And then these dots, let's see. I didn't trace these in. I'm going to go with my 3H. And I'm going to draw, this dot is really just a wiggly, wormy thing. And make like a half dot there. This has a full dot there. And then the dots that are further down are really just like odd shapes like that. And then we have a, let's see, the dots kind of go in diagonal lines like this, so. And don't worry if they're not perfect. Those I just drew circles because she's moving. It's not fabric that's laying flat. So they might be more oval shaped. Okay, so I drew some dots in, and now I'm just going to shade all around it. Just one level of gray tone. And I'll go back into it later. But the reason I need to do this now is because I need this value here so I can do the legs. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to blend. I'm going to go back to my paper because I liked that. And see how the paper's dark because I was using it? So I'm not going to try to do light areas right now. I'm just going to do this dark area. And then I'll fold it again and get a clean area to do light edges. You could twist it. Okay, there's that. And I'll do this. And I'm looking at my reference photo, and this dark needs to go all the way up. Looks like it goes, this darkness needs to go over a bit. And then right here, I need to get lighter, I think. It looks like I should have like a very light triangle here. So I'm just going to erase back into that. And then it should fade into that. And I can't have that. Let me point. I can't have this edge because it looks like a fold. And she does not have a fold in her leg. So I really need to blend that. So boop, 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 boop. I'm going to grab maybe the Q-tip. You can also use a filbert paintbrush, works good for this. You could sharpen your kneaded eraser and lift some of the graphite out with that. That works well. Get the edge of her thigh. I'm just patting the kneaded eraser. All right, and I need to make, I have this highlight too large here. So to really get the shape of her leg, I need to go back in and just draw some here. And then I can do more dock here. to really see the edge of that leg. And then her fanny goes right up to the, let me see. This curve is important. I feel like it's important. There, that's how I want it. And then the edge of the bathing suit is, the bathing suit is darker than her leg up here. So that's the darkness of the bathing suit will define this edge. Right now I'm just using a 3H. I'll end up going darker later. All right, so I'm gonna go darker now with a HB. Just softly coloring with this HB. And as it goes down toward the inside of her leg, the bathing suit gets darker. Okay, so now I'm just filling this in so I get a little bit darker. I'm doing little circles because I don't want lines. All right. Now, these white polka dots, because our bathing suit is a little bit shadowed and darker here, that shadow also has to play across those dots. So I'm going to take my lightest pencil, which is a 3H, and just lightly go over these dots. Like that. So if you look close up, these are a very light gray. These are staying white. And part of what's going to help those dots look white is to color in the bathing suit. As you color in, remember that this part of the bathing suit has to be darker than this. And then what do we have over here? Here we have some dark around that curved fabric. Using a 3H. And then this part is going to be a little darker because it's the rounded underneath part. This is odd, so what am I going to do? That's the dock. It's just odd because it was unfinished, so I need to do that. Okay. The reason this thigh should be thinner than that one is because it's forward, but I think I have it a little too thin, or I have this too bulky. So let me back up with my camera, take a step back, because I want to fix that before I go too far. All right. I think I am going to trim down this leg by turning this into dock. Or, let me see, that can go out and then this can go in, because that should be more curved. Has to be more gradual, or a little tushy. Okay. That looks about good. And then this part of her leg needs to go in a little more. These legs are turning into a long video, aren't they? I should stop soon. Let's see. This is going to be darker. I just want to get the shape of the leg good. Her leg needs to get thinner here because it goes out here. So I definitely need to erase some of that because I went too far with it. I went too far to the right. Maybe you didn't, but it looks like I did. So I'm going to really erase that to where I want it. There. And then I'm going to go back in with the dock. So I just slim down her leg by bringing the dock values closer. All right, I think that's good. All right, lower part of this leg. Do some darkness here, and then I'm going to blend a little more. So I'm just tapping my kneaded eraser. I'm tapping my kneaded eraser here to get this light. I'll continue this later. I'm just getting the values next to her leg because that's really going to make the edge of that leg. So do this. This is the 3H I'm using. Now I have this oddness that I can't have. So I have to decide what I want to do there. So I'm looking at the photo again, always referencing the photo on this detail work. And this needs to get thinned down. Her ankle should be thinner. All right. And I need to go, it has to go in a little bit here. So to do that inward ankle part, I'm darkening the dock there. And I need to see the edge of that nice and white. And I think that's about it. I think that's all I'm doing with this foot. I don't want to overwork it. I can always go into it later when I'm done, when I've done more of the drawing and I'm finishing it. So that's what I have so far. I think I need a little more dark under her butt cheek here when I compare it to my photo. And then it's very dark here. So I'm going to grab a very dark pencil there. So this is a 4B, and I need to darken here. Her leg is darker than the bathing suit down here. Do you see how I made the edge of that bathing suit? I just made this dark, and that gave me the bathing suit edge. And then I have to feather this into the rest of the leg. Do the same thing over here under the bathing suit. And I need I want this to match. I need a little more chubbiness here. And I think this isn't soft enough. So I'm going to do that. And you can't like erase the full line because then you'll have like a halo effect. All right, so I'm going to leave the legs like that for now. Beautiful.